For this last page, we're going to try the area model, things that we were working on this year. So example number 1, here's an alternative option. So what we would do is we would take our divisor and put it on the left side outside of the area box. And then on the inside, we're going to put our dividend. And so what we need to do is we need to just fill in the boxes in order to determine what is missing. So 3 times 6 is 18. X squared times x squared is x to the 4. 3 times -1 makes -3. X squared times x makes x cubed. Okay, and then the last one, I don't know what times 3 is 5, so it's not going to be a nice whole number or an integer. So this one is going to be 5/3 here. Okay. So what I would do is I would just ask myself 5x squared divided by 3x squared. So that's where the 5/3 comes from. Okay, so that's my constant there. So therefore my answer in this case is going to be in the red, my quotient. So it's 6x squared minus 1x and plus 5/3, like that. Okay, for example number 2, the exact same concept. So I'm going to set up my box. Okay, my divisor is just a monomial, 4x cubed. So I got -20x to the 5th minus 8x cubed plus 16x squared. Okay, and then I'm going to start to work my way on the outside. So -5 times 4 is -20. X squared times x cubed is x to the 5th. 4 times -2 is -8. X cubed is just going to be there as well. Okay, and then in this last case, again, I have the issue of I have 16x squared, so I know 4 times 4 is 16. However, there's 2 x's on the top and 3 x's on the bottom, so if I take away 2 from the top and 2 from the bottom, that means there's an x on the bottom still remaining there. Okay, so I have -5x squared minus 2 plus 4 over x, like that. Okay, so that's dividing by a monomial. So now what happens when I divide by a binomial? So this is the alternative to long division. So the alternative to long division, okay, I am dividing by, I don't have to make this as wide. So I'm dividing by a binomial, x minus 7. So I'm going to make a x minus 7, so I have 2 rows there. The very first term, 3x squared, is going to go in this box. Now here's the key for these pieces. This minus 29x is created from this diagonal row right here. And this positive 56 is just from this last box here. So what that means for me is whatever's in those 2 boxes needs to add up to these 2 numbers here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the outside in the upper left-hand box. So I'm asking myself, what times x gives me 3x squared? So I'm starting up top here, and it's 3x. Okay, now that I'm here, I'm going to multiply the 3x by -7. So 3x times -7 is -20x. So now what I'm asking myself is -21x plus what gives me -29x. I have to consolidate that there. So what that means is that would be a -8x, because when I add them together, they give me -29. Now that I have that box, I'm going to work on the outside again. What times x gives me -8x? That would be -8. And so -8 times -7 is a positive 56. What I will notice is that it's already accounted for. So because it's already accounted for, that means that there's going to be no remainder. So therefore my answer is going to be 3x minus 8. So what that tells me is x minus 7 times 3x minus 8 is equal to my original trinomial, 3x squared minus 29x plus 56. So in this case, it was factorable as well because the remainder is 0. Okay, moving on, example number 4. So what you'll notice here is there's 0 x's there, and I'd also like to point out there's 0 x's there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up, and this one's a little trickier. Okay, I'm going to make 3 rows. And the reason why is because there's 0 x's and then there's a -1. Okay, So I'm going to start with the x cubed here. Okay, what I need to point out is that I have my 9x squared. And then I also have my negative 5. Okay, and in reality, I don't need that last row. This one's not going to come into play, and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, so this would be, so I'm looking for 9x squared, and then 0x, and then negative 5. Okay, so I'm going to start on the outside. What times x squared gives me x cubed? So that's going to be x. So x times 0x is 0x squared. X times negative 1 is negative 1x. Okay, so now I have to create the 9x squared. So in order to create the 9x squared, this needs to be plus 9x squared. Okay, and so I ask myself again, what times x squared gives me 9? So that will be a positive 9. Okay, the reason why I crossed out the third column is because the 9 is the constant. There's nothing that comes after the constant. So 9 times 0x, anything times 0 is 0, so that's 0x there. 9 times negative 1 is negative 9. Okay, so here's what I need to do. I need to figure out the yellow. Now, notice there's no columns left. So because there's no columns left, that means I'm going to have a remainder here. So what times negative 1x plus 0x gives me 0x? So my remainder would be a plus 1x in order to make that 0. And what minus 9 gives me negative 5? So that would be positive 4. Okay, so in this case, positive 4 is my remainder, and then positive 1x is also my remainder. So my answer would be x plus 9, okay, my quotient, plus my remainder, 1x plus 4, over my divisor, x squared minus 1, like that. Okay, so that's how it can be a little trickier, but you can still do this as well. Okay, example number 5. I have a binomial as my divisor, so I only need 2 rows here. Again, I made it a little too big. So I have the x minus 5. I'm going to start off with the x squared, this together, and then this. So I should have a negative 10x, and this should be minus 25. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. I need another negative 5x to make negative 10. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. So what do I need to add to 25 to get negative 25? That would be negative 50. So this is my remainder. So my answer is my quotient plus my remainder over my divisor, or x minus 5 minus 50 over x minus 5. And for this last piece, we're dividing by x plus 3. Because there's a fourth degree, I can make this a little wider. Okay, so fourth degree, third, second. So there's my cubic, there's my quadratic, there's my linear, and there's my constant. So based on my information, the 2x to the fourth is going to start it off. And then I need to create a plus 3x cubed. There is 0x squared, so I'm going to make sure I noted that. There's a minus 8x and a minus 1. So now I'm going to start to work my way around. 2x cubed. 2x cubed times 3 is a positive 6x cubed. That means that I need to make a minus 3x cubed. So this will be minus 3x squared. Once I have that there, negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. X squared, I need to create 0. So in order to create 0, I need a positive 9x squared. So this is plus 9x. 9x times 3 is 27x. In order to make negative 8, I need negative 35x. That means this is negative 35. Negative 35 times 3 is negative 105. So I just need one short of that. So my remainder is a positive 104. So 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 9x minus 35 plus 104 over